My name is Luke Szabados. I'm from Athens, Ohio. Originally from Cleveland, Ohio, USA. The movie that we're screening here, Rubric timestamp, I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it, and I edited it, and I did the sound design. So, pretty much everything.
Okay.
Although I had some help with different song elements and music coming in from friends, people I knew. I had done some video editing in high school. I did an internship with a local hospital, and I learned how to edit video, kind of just by the internet and learning how to do, kind of on my own. And then I took some classes at the university. So after high school, I moved into Chicago and I did some video editing there. Media composer, Avid. So I learned that in the university. And then a lot of it was just, at least for sound design, just kind of taking from what I've listened to, music that I've been exposed to, and just trying to reincorporate elements into the kind of sound design. Part of this high school internship program where students worked with doctors doing research in through the Cleveland Clinic, and my job was to interview these students and find out more about the research projects and create videos highlighting the content, highlighting the research being done by these students and doctors. And so I produced probably about 6 videos through the Cleveland Clinic.
Let's talk about the movie you screen here.
Sure.
So tell me something freely.
Well, we shot it under the constraints of a video project for the university. Our curriculum the first year is composed of 3 different films, and 2 of them you have to make on 16 millimeter film. And so we were given 1,300 feet of film, and I had to shoot a 6-page script. And so the process of making this, I really was interested in kind of experimental film, and specifically like happenings that you see where the idea of capturing something only once, or kind of the focusing on the experience of capturing in the moment. And so a lot of that takes you'll see in the film were the first takes that we tried from those camera angles, and we weren't able to see through a monitor to make sure if it was okay. And so it made the process of filmmaking nerve-wracking, but also really special, because everybody, we would rehearse for one moment, and then you never knew until a week later, until you got what you wanted. And there's no way you could redo because of just the production constraints. I tried to, for our actors at least, try to give as little direction as possible. And in a lot of the film, you'll see people not really acting; they're just kind of bodies kind of moving, expressionless. And so I tried to make it as if people were acting, or I tried not to have people act and really just be themselves in front of camera. So I would give them specific instructions where I'd say, all right, you're going to walk from here to here, and then you're going to kneel down and you're going to wash your hands. And however they would normally wash their hands is how I'd capture it. And so with actors, that would leave a lot of flexibility to and unforeseen possibilities of what would actually happen during the take. And so for one take, we did this dolly shot where this pipe was pouring out water and somebody was washing their hands under the water, and the camera was turning around, and the guy who was pouring the water into the pipe in front of camera ran out of water. And so on during the take, this person's washing their hands, and then suddenly all the water comes out. And after all of this work and practice to get this one shot, the water was supposed to keep on flowing and flowing, and she was just like looked at her hands and just like, because we had to do that shot again and we were burning film, and so we did the shot again and we fixed the problem and the water kept on pouring and it was great. But when I looked at the footage afterwards, the shot where she like looks at her hands and just completely kind of irritated at the fact that this water had run out was like so much better because it was like natural, you know? And so we used that shot instead of the really, really good shot. And so a lot of the collaboration was kind of giving people motivation and then just letting people go with it. And that's how we worked with lighting a lot. And I kind of give people a sense of lighting motivations and then say, let's see what you come up with. And then with actors, I said, let's just, I give them instructions, and however they completed those instructions with their bodies would be how it came about on screen. Well, I mean, there are shots of the face and stuff like that, but it all kind of started with this idea of standing on a hill and looking over a field. And in this field, I just saw a bunch of people on their knees and elbows, churning mud with their arms and just getting really muddy, and just, 70 people or tons of people. And I this idea came to me, and it was so confusing. And so I thought, what is this, and how do I make this into something that makes a little bit more sense or have kind of a context? And so I just kind of kept on thinking about this image of just like, dozens and dozens of people in this mud, and from that, all of these different little parts came about. Just kind of realizing that, like, okay, this image that came first goes really well with this image, and I don't know really how they connect, but just putting kind of these images together. So we have people in mud. We have next to that are people in uniforms in rows walking up this aisle, and before that we follow this aisle down, and it becomes a staircase. And so kind of making these transitions and connecting like a royal staircase to a farming field, to this muddy field, to these things, and trying to piece them together. It's really fun to do, especially in the editing room. But it creates a lot of room for different interpretations for how the film is, what the film means. I'd say it's about people at work and what happens when the resources deplete. So the film kind of follows this group of farmers as they're working in this field and they're washing their hands, and they go back to work and they wash their hands. And it's a very organized and process. But then suddenly the water stops running and it just turns into chaos, where people are running and climbing over each other to get this water, this kind of like holy thing. And so I'd say the film is about that, and kind of our relationship to these different resources. I was just researching about places where this film might be able to fit. And I came across Skepto, and it seemed like just the right festival. I don't really know how exactly I found it. I think just searching the internet, but just seeing the diversity of content that Skepto shows, I thought that this film, the Rubric timestamped, would be a good option. And so when it got accepted, this is the world premiere of the Rubric timestamp. And when it got accepted, I told the college, and they said, "You have to go. You have to go. You have to write a grant, and we'll send you there." And so I wrote this grant, and the university paid for me to come here. And this is actually my first time I've ever been overseas. And it's just a really special experience being able to share just such a vibrant town, share my film with such a vibrant town. It's really beautiful, and I absolutely love Cagliari.